Solar power is the conversion of renewable energy from sunlight into electricity, either directly using photovoltaics or indirectly using concentrated solar power or a combination. Photovoltaic cells convert light into an electric current. Solar power generates 4% of the world's electricity. Along with onshore wind, utility-scale solar is the cheapest levelist cost of electricity. The first solar cell was invented in 1941, and over the next several decades, solar panels were invented and improved, making solar panels much more affordable. By 2016, the US alone had 1 million solar installations. 3 years later, there were 2 million installations. Solar power is used all over the world. However, using solar power is very weather-dependent and can be costly. Using the sun for energy fits in with many individuals, companies, and nations' environmental values. However, there's some implications such as land use and other environmental impacts that also need to be recognised.
As we know, energy is produced using panels that collect light from the sun. This means that solar energy production is very weather dependent. Bright, sunny days are when potential for solar energy is at its highest. However, this is when energy requirements are lowest. Dark, cold days are when people need lots of energy to light up and heat their homes. However, solar energy potential is extremely low on these days. This makes solar energy pretty unreliable, so we need to find some solutions to make the most effective use of this resource. Solar farms are one way to do this. This is when lots of panels are put in one place, collecting energy whenever available and storing it in a battery. This way, energy can be transported to wherever it is needed to supply power all over the world. With this in mind, solar energy can play an important role in the decarbonisation of the energy industry.
New Zealand has a clean, green image to hold up worldwide, and therefore solar energy has been embraced by many environmentalists, economists, and Kiwis just doing their bit for the health of our backyard. Within these perspectives, we see people praising solar energy for its future forward environmental and social potential, but also raising concern for those same reasons. Solar energy seems like an easy solution to move the world's energy away from fossil fuel and towards a renewable source such as the sun, with solar energy producing 25 times less CO2 emissions compared to energy from coal. Solar farms have also become pollinator habitats for their ability to become meadows of wildflower-rich lands underneath panels to encourage local bee colonies and a diverse range of fauna. However, environmentalists hold concerns over the wastage and production of these solar panels. During the manufacturing process, cadmium, plastics, unrecyclable glass, and other heavy metals are forged together to create one panel. Using New Zealand's own 75,000 panel solar farm as an example, we would see approximately 40,000 pounds of these materials leach into our soil over its lifetime, with an estimated 78 million metric tonnes of solar waste being produced by 2050. Concerns over solar energy don't only come from environmentalists. Solar panels have also many implications that could be damaging to New Zealand's social and economic development. The main concern being the elimination of prime land. For solar to create enough renewable energy to run New Zealand, mass infrastructure of solar farms will have to be built throughout the country, with an equivalent to 2,000 rugby fields needed to power Christchurch alone. Thoughts are over solar panels taking important land needed for crops, farming, housing, and also having the potential to displace communities and households over land. Solar panels do, however, have the possibility to uplift and economically help Kiwis. Not only will this new industry create thousands of jobs, it will make electricity more affordable long term, with an average New Zealand household saving anywhere from $500 to $1,200 per year with solar power.
Now, what can we do to combat the problems associated with solar energy? Firstly, cost. Because solar energy is so expensive, the government has developed schemes and subsidies to help lessen the load of investments for people. Secondly, as solar panels require a great area of land for installation, we can combat this by installing panels on the roofs of large companies and businesses that are already built. This makes use of the area that is already in use and ensures that we don't use land that would be used elsewhere. Lastly, while solar energy and panels produce a large amount of waste, diligence is required in order to dispose of it correctly, as we would with our own recycling at home. It is important to separate the panels into their recycling categories, for example, glass and aluminium frames, which can then be given to recycling companies and hazardous waste collection facilities.
In conclusion, solar power is very weather dependent and an expensive way to generate electricity. However, it can be a great way to decrease the use of fossil fuels if the technology can provide enough energy required. People praise solar energy for its future environmental and social potential and values, although there are still some implications that need to be resolved.